Welcome back to another Will Interviews. Today I'm here with,
Dan Levi.
and could you just explain to us what you do? Explain your brand and everything.
So I do visual arts, visual design, anything that involves creativity, like creative building. And we also run a brand, the Holy Gallery. It's not a clothing brand, it's a creative agency. And yeah, that's what we do.
Could you go deeper into that not a brand creative agency thing? Because I think from just hearing that, you don't really understand what it is. But if you looked at any of the imagery, any of the kind of creative stuff that you guys do, it'll make more sense.
Yeah. So like right off the bat, like the only product we dropped is a jersey, which is clothing, but that's like the design language we chose, like the main platform we chose to like speak to people, to communicate with people. But outside of that, like that's just a foundation for us. Like while we're working on all the creative projects, the jersey is like there, bringing us income and being a staple piece. So the creative services, we're trying to figure out like the proper term for it, but it's like, what can we, because our thing, it's, it's business and it's creativity, it's like two things. We're good at the creative side. We're not good at the business side. Yeah. So it's like, what can we bring to other brands, other artists, other businesses, creatively, you know what I'm saying? It's like that world building, and that's what we're trying to build on, and we have like a collaboration coming up. It's not even a collab. It's just like us offering our, I don't want to say creative direction either, because it's
offering
so
your talents more or less.
Yeah. Engineering a product and giving it direction and giving it our style, our design language. And, just what we want people to be like, yo, I want the Holy Gallery to direct this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's more like creative direction. And it's like, it's not just bound to the projects that you do. It's not bound to just the jersey that you just released. It's like you can, it's in a way like rent out these talents that you're talking about.
Yeah. Rent out is a good way to put it. And it's like, at the end of the day, you want people to hire you not for your skills, but for your style and your vision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's where you really are like really wanted, because anybody could be like, yo, I want to hire you for your skills because you know how to operate a camera. But like, that's not what I would want. I want to like say, I want to hire you because I know what you bring to the table creatively. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You see, or other people see the vision that you guys have started and see what you're kind of doing with this and say, I want their take on whatever I'm doing. And I think that's like, I think that's the whole meat of what you guys are trying to do.
Yeah. And we're like we have like no portfolio right now. You know what I'm saying? We're like just getting started. So. Yeah.
And I mean, from what you guys have already done with the jersey, I just think the way that you attacked marketing for that was great. Just with could you talk a little bit about the photo shoot with the kids? Because I thought that was really sick.
Thank you. Yeah. Like so the jersey, we developed it a year ago. Like the sample we developed is right there. It was built a year ago. We made the cut a year ago, and we had like a bunch of OG vintage jersey references, trying to like, just kind of like study the piece, layer it. How do you wear it? How do you style it? Trying to think outside of like the typical t-shirt and stuff, kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like make our own staple piece and show people how to style and how to layer. So yeah, the whole like campaign, like the whole marketing thing, the whole advertising and stuff, I like the idea of just the children as models is so like fire to me, because it's like the innocence of kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
just like the childlike kind of curiosity.
Exactly, yeah. And there was supposed to be multiple directions for the shoot with the jersey, so it's like a dystopia, a like casual, and like you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's kind of showing the versatility of the piece. And with the kids, it was like this like innocent, childlike vibe to it. And I mean, it has a message too, which is influence. Like they're leaving a trail with the powder. Wherever they go, like what influence are you leaving behind? I think that's so important, because if you're walking into a room and you're not leaving anything behind, like any influence, and you're not bringing anything to the table, there's no substance there. You know what I'm saying? So, like showing that through the campaign, I thought was super cool with kids, and it's also refreshing because you don't really see that. You always see like our age model or you know what I'm
just models and whatever similar kind of background.
Exactly. So like doing it with the kids was super fun. Like the whole like campaign, just like going out there. I don't know if you know Jacob, shout out Jacob Photo. Like he did the whole photo shoot. Yeah. But yeah, I think it was refreshing, and I think like looking back at it, it's just super cool to see. And I think even like years from now or a year from now, it's gonna be like something to want to recreate, again, and bring back.
Just leaving kind of a track of work that you're proud of looking back on. I think is great.
It's a fire body of work. Yeah.
And also, you said that the campaign for that jersey drop was double-sided. Could you talk about the other side that wasn't the kid photo shoot? Because I think there was another photo shoot that you guys did.
Yeah, we did it was a styling shoot. It was more so to showcase how to style it, because it's crazy. People, they don't understand. Like, you got to teach people, like, straight up. Like, I can literally post, a jersey available now at $25. And so somebody would slide up and say, how much? Like, bro, I just said $25.
Yeah.
So, like, you really got to, like, kind of go down to
kind of like coach people.
Yeah. And it's like, and even the styling shoot we did was very conceptual, styling wise, not the actual shoot itself. So like that carried the whole photo shoot, and we were like we weren't worried, but we were like, okay, how's the casual consumer gonna react to this? Because it's a lot, like it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's
a little
fire.
out there. Yeah, it's crazy.
So we have another shoot planned out, and it's more like a Gap shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like, for the casual consumers, like
not mainstream, but just
not
more
mainstream. Yeah, with
like,
our own touch.
Yeah, with your own touch, but more widely accepted.
Right.
Less than that last
We
year.
have like this idea of like, it's almost like a manual booklet on how to style it. Like, it's like imagine three different photos. The first one is like camping. There's a tent behind you. It's a couple. They have the jersey on with their hiking boots, the Gore-Tex, and it's like showing how you can style it in that environment.
Yeah.
And then another environment at the gym, for example, and then another one like the skating, like,
yeah,
so
just
it's
in
like
real world
in the real
kind
world.
of examples.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and then kind of literally label how to style it over a hoodie, under like over a tank top, over active wear, like, because you got to show people. And I think when people see, like, oh, okay, that's cute or whatever, like,
they like it once they see it in that kind of setting.
Yeah, and we want to push, like, the jersey is not meant to sell out. Like, we're having it in stock forever. So it's like we're pushing that product as we create other products and work on other projects. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a foundation for us.
Yeah, I was just gonna say foundation. Yeah, that sounds like it. You talked about earlier before this off camera that someone else is running Holy Gallery with you. Could you shout them out and just say what they do?
Yeah, shout out Aceto Archive. Will, that's my cousin, bro. It's like the hillbillies, like Kendrick and Baby King. He's the other half of the Holy Gallery. Like, a lot of the visuals you see, a lot of the styling and the world building that's all him. Like the tech pack, the cut and sew. It's just like, without him, there's no Holy Gallery, or like without me, there's no. It's like both sides. You need both sides for it to work. You know what I'm saying? So shout out Will. And it's like, a lot of times you don't want to get into business with friends or family, because it don't work out. But I think the visions align so well for this. It's worked out great so far.
And it seems like you guys work together well. It doesn't seem like there's any clashing.
No, there's no. I mean, we'll have our discussions and whatnot, but it's for the better,
Yeah.
So.
Just from being in this space and seeing all that you guys are doing, it seems like a lot of intentional thought goes into these projects that you guys do. And I'm just wondering, like, how do, like, the thinking, you could call it like a thinking session, or like how does a brainstorming kind of thing go? Will you write something down, or will you keep these ideas in a journal and then take them to Will to talk about them further and just build these ideas out?
Yeah, we're learning to write things down, because there's a big difference with keeping things here and then writing it down.
Yeah.
Like, even just with planning something out for the week, like, if you write it down and make sure you check it off, things get done, actually get done. A lot of our projects, we have this rule. It's like the 2-week rule we try to operate on, where, like, if we have an idea of a sketch or some concept, we want to sketch it out, make a sample in the next 2 weeks, because otherwise it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You have to, like, kind of set those rules on yourself, or it's not going to get done. And that's something, like, we've been trying to do. We always try to do on all things. Like, we have this poster idea. Let's get it done next week. Let's have it done next week. Or we have this website idea. Let's get it done this week. And so it's like, it's a lot of, me and Will are more digital artists. So a lot of our concepts happen on a Photoshop canvas, so it's not like we don't sketch it out or anything like that.
Yeah.
But we do write down ideas, and last night we were here just writing down what's the next steps for Holy Gallery. What can we do to not just become another brand in a box, because that's not what we are. So how can we stand out as a creative? It's like a PG Lang.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah, totally.
Like what they're doing with, like, the commercials and, like, what they bring to the table. That's kind of like an inspiration for us. that type of, level of creativity. That's what we want to achieve.
Have you seen the phone project that they're working on?
I did, bro.
I think that's really sick.
So cool. And I feel like people aren't, it's kind of like no one's really talking about it. Like, it's such a good idea.
Such a great idea. And I dude, if I had a kid like that age, I would totally give them a PG Lang phone.
Yeah, that thing is crazy. Like, the whole team out there, like the whole PG Lang team, like, they just know what they're doing,
Yeah. Would you say after you guys implemented that 2-week rule, did you see your efficiency just as creatives kind of skyrocket?
Yeah, I think everybody should do that. When you just kind of have to. It's because it's one thing to say it and think it, and it's another thing to write it down and do it. And I think everyone's aware of that. But like when we kind of are aware of this 2-week rule, like things get done like that. I know you guys can't see it, but the jersey, like that camel gray one, we made it like in 2 hours, and by the next week we had like the whole sample done, like here in the studio. Like we had like the Photoshop sketch or whatever, and like the next week we had it done. And that's how you like really move quick, because a lot of people have an idea and they're good ideas, but they're like they sit on them, and after 3 weeks you're not inspired or something. I don't know, the motivation's gone and it just doesn't get done.
And there's something to be said about putting it out in the world rather than just keeping it in, because nobody can benefit off of it or get inspired by it by just it living in your head. So
yeah, that's it. It definitely helps us be more efficient in what we do.
Yeah. So I seen through your Instagram and through what you guys are doing with Holy Gallery that a big kind of theme within all of your guys' work is religion. Did you grow up religious, or how did that come about? And how big of a part does religion play into what you do creatively?
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, I want to say religious, but it's definitely godlike. Like it's not like we're under some religion, but it's not like it's kingdom like it's not a specific religion or anything like that. But yeah, like I was raised in church my whole life. My dad's a pastor, so growing up in church, and it's one thing to be like indoctrinated in that, because it's easy to grow up in that, and you're Christian, right? Growing up in that. But I think it's another thing, like for yourself, want to like go out there and seek God on your own terms, on God's terms, instead of just kind of being, what's the word, like I don't want to say brainwashed, but
kind of just living in it not by your own choice.
Right.
Like when it becomes an individual choice, I think that's what you're kind of talking about.
Yeah, and it's definitely applied into everything we do. Like it's not like we're a Christian brand or like some like religious brand or anything like that, but you can definitely like see the the elements of that in our artwork. And it's God first for us, you know what I'm saying? Like we got to pray before we ask God for the ideas. We ask God, because like to us as believers, me and Will, like we're both raised very similar. Like his dad and my dad are like, they were like that at one point, like being born in Mexico and whatnot. But it's like, we know if we got to put God first. I feel like when you put God first, that's the best way to put yourself first, because it's in God's best interest for you to succeed. That's what we have that sign right there, everything on God's terms, because a lot of people, we're not getting religious or anything, but like we like to like, because this applies to everybody, whether you believe or not. But a lot of people like to do things on their own terms, and a lot of times things don't work out. And I think when you put things on God's terms, like God will, like I said, God will provide the ideas, and it's in God's best interest for you to succeed because you're His product. Kind of how like when Apple drops an iPhone, it's a finished product. They're not dropping a sketch. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like that's how I feel like God made me a finished product.
Yeah. No, that's I totally see where you're coming from. Talking more about kind of the compositions that you make digitally. You talked about Photoshop being your canvas, and I see that kind of otherworldly element being shown in all those. What do you call them? Just the visuals that you make?
Just the visuals, visual art. Yeah.
Like the prints that you released. I saw you were selling them a little bit ago, but just like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't even have a name for it. I don't even know. That's one thing. I don't even know what to call myself, to be honest with you. Like, definitely not a graphic designer. Like, it's more than that. But it's just art, I guess, just to generalize.
Creative director. I can put up some in editing. I can put up some pictures of it to kind of explain.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to call it, but it's definitely there's a lot of routes to go with it, whether it's like album covers, photography direction, like just so many different things to do with it that I wish I could even apply it on video, you know, because it's like world building. Like,
yeah, totally.
I'm making my own art style, and I think that's what everybody should do, because building your own art style is like one of the best things you can do as an artist.
Yeah, totally.
You know, like sometimes you'll look at something and it'll be like, oh, that's tied to the creator, like that's his brand, because it's like he's built this world, you know, that's the aesthetic he's built. Or like you see something over here and like, oh, that's Kanye. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you just understand it without even without even seeing that he made it. It's like you can just know. That's how I always felt with Virgil.
Yeah,
that's like, regardless of if I even liked the pieces or liked what he was doing, like I saw a piece and I was like, oh yeah, he made that,
right.
And I know that his stamp is on it before I even see he's connected to the project.
His stamp, yeah, that's what you want, bro. Like building your own art style, that can take so much time to develop. But once you develop it, then people are gonna be like, I want his art style. I want to hire you for your art style.
Yeah,
not your skills, like I said before.
Yeah. No, that's great. And you were telling me off camera, but could you talk a little bit about how you got into making these like digital compositions? Because I thought the story was really funny.
Yeah. So back in like 2014, I was like huge on Minecraft and like the whole gaming. It was like peak GTA 5, Minecraft, like all that. So I was like in middle school and I was like making YouTube videos, streaming and all that. And I wanted to have like the best thumbnails and all that, you know? So I had to learn how to make my own thumbnails. At first I would take them from Google and just upload them like that, but I was stealing. So I was like on the iPad, I learned how to do a thumbnail on the Photoshop that they had back then. And from there, like I would watch tutorials and then people would ask me like, yo, can you make me one? So I started making them for free and eventually started charging. And then after that, it was like they wanted banners, and then after that, like they wanted 3D renders, which I learned how to like render the little Minecraft character. That's where like the graphic design element came from, of me learning, you know, just graphic design overall, and it has developed into this so far. But that's like the origins, the Dan Levi origins, bro. Minecraft.
Yeah, it's a crazy track that you went on from doing Minecraft stuff to transitioning into this kind of stuff.
Though. Minecraft.
Yeah, no, OG, totally. Big part in my childhood too. Yeah.
Let's hop on.
Were you on like what was your thing on Minecraft? Like what were you doing?
I was doing Hunger Games. That was like the main thing. Yeah.
No factions or anything?
Nah, I didn't play. I played Prison. I don't know if you.
I think I played a little bit of that, but nothing crazy. I did play a lot of Hunger Games though. My brother used to make Hunger Games YouTube videos.
Oh, maybe we collabed back. You know what's funny though? I did Minecraft Pocket Edition. Isn't that funny? Like
you were only on the phone.
I was only on the phone on the iPad. Yeah, which is like everyone's like, you did Pocket Edition. Like it was.
So fun. You were like screen recording your iPad?
Yeah, I was screen recording the iPad.
And then you would overlay your voice on top of it?
Yeah, it was like and I had a face cam too. Like I had I edited my own video. That's where editing came in too. Like editing videos. Like a lot of creativity came from that little era. That's
crazy. Yeah. And how old would you say you were?
I was in 6th and 7th grade.
So like 12?
Yeah. Around there.
That's crazy. I was looking through your page and I saw, I don't know if it was a year and a half ago, you created you had a brand or whatever you would refer to it as called NAF Supply.
Yeah, and it's No Authority Figures.
Could you talk more about that?
Yeah, that was like my attempt at a brand, and that was just like just like the typical clothing brand I had started, and I feel like I needed that learning experience. It was the whole brand was the whole message of it. No authority figures. It's not supposed to be like some rebellious like brand or anything like that. It's just because it was like no authority figures except God and my mom. But and
that's a good message.
Yeah, and that was just. But I know like that title, that name is like the youth sees that and they're like, oh shoot, like they're attracted to that stuff for some reason because it's like anti-government, or they might think anti-parents or something like that.
Anti-parents, like kids don't like their parents.
Yeah. Like there's even that one brand, Divide the Youth, which is kind of like that same world or whatever. But yeah, that was like the first brand. And honestly, it was doing fine, but I wanted to do something with a little more substance, you know?
You wanted something more.
Yeah, like just take it up to the next level. And like now everything we do has to be at the highest level that we can do. Even at this low level, like what's the highest level we can do things at? But yeah, that was like the first, brand. And it did well. Like I enjoyed that. Like I learned how to do shipping from that, how to package orders, how to track inventory and run a website and blah, blah. So do screen printing, like all those little details.
So you would say it was a good precursor to what you're doing now.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out NAF. It's dead now, but
yeah. How would you say location kind of factors into the way you work? I mean, regardless of where you are, the studio kind of seems like you can get anything done in it, but like being from Ogden, or I assume you're from Ogden, and just like managing this all out of Ogden, how does it kind of impact your brand as a total?
Well, Ogden's not the best like city to run anything creative, you know, but we're working with the resources we have, and I do think your environment definitely affects, you know, the way you operate. But we're trying to work with what we got, and it's funny though, because most of our orders are not even from Ogden; they're like out of state. But I do think like we gotta. I always say this: we gotta think globally and act locally. You know, you start with the people around you, with the circle around you, and eventually that expands, you know, nationwide or whatever, worldwide. But you gotta act locally first. You know, inspire the city first. You know, inspire your city. Yeah. And go from there. Like I said, Ogden's not the most creative. There's not really much going on here, but we're working. You know, this is still home, and we're working with what we got. The studio's here in Ogden, and you know, hopefully we go to Salt Lake City next, and you know, we'll see where God takes us next.
Could you talk a little bit about like? I mean, we talked a little bit about the Minecraft thing, but just like growing up in terms of your influences, kind of like musically, or you would say fashion wise, like what were things that you were super into as a kid and that, like, kind of maybe informed what you do now?
Yeah, definitely Kanye West. That's like a big inspiration, and it's funny because fashion's not even like really my thing. It's not like I'm not I'm not huge into the fashion world like that. I don't even have like the culture like like the cultural references and things like that. But to me, it's more like, as a creative, where do I want to, like, what design language do I want to choose? Do I want, you know, there's so many different creative worlds you can go into: music, clothing, sculptures, furniture, like, you know what I'm saying? Like so many. So to me, it was cool to see like my art style, my graphic design, my visual arts. How do I translate that into a garment, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think Kanye West has definitely been an inspiration for a lot of us.
Oh yeah, totally, myself included.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like musically, and just like this idea of kind of innovating, you know? That's like really where because it's not just making clothes. Like, how can we innovate? That's why the jersey was made for us, to innovate, push the taste level locally first, like I told you.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people don't know how to. You got to really, like I said, you got to teach people. You got to show them, almost force them to elevate their taste style, and innovate in that sense and create a staple piece. And I think that's what Kanye has done in everything he's done, really. He's always pushed, you know, just kept pushing and kind of broke the four walls and whatever he was doing.
Yeah, and it seems like you guys are doing something similar, like what we were talking about with the jersey campaign. It's just like forcing a person's hand on, oh, this is how you wear it, or this is how it's laid out, and like giving them this kind of formula so that they can do it. I think that's something very Kanye-esque that you guys have done. And I was what was my thought that I had? I could honestly see the influence just through what you guys do and all the colors and all that. And something I also saw that you were influenced by was James Turrell and all his works. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I sample a lot of artwork, a lot of photos, and even artwork. A lot of Instagram references. I'll take a picture of anything and I'll just put it into Photoshop and sample it. Like, I love the idea of sampling art. The same way an artist samples like a music. Like, I like to do it with art.
Yeah.
But yeah, James Turrell, his work is crazy. Like, just, I love the blue sky. I love the ovals, and I like to implement that into my artwork. But yeah, definitely, like, he's had sometimes you're inspired, you don't even realize it. You know, like, someone's inspiring you.
Yeah.
And you don't even, you know what I'm saying? You don't even realize, but he's definitely, like, there's a lot of similarities between my artwork and his, like in the idea of like the blue sky, the ovals. I mean, I've sampled his artwork. But yeah, definitely James Turrell is a GOAT. I want to go see some of his like
real world.
Yeah, I actually want to go. I haven't gone, but yeah, definitely him.
Another thing I was thinking about is just from seeing this physical place, I think what you guys do with the kind of experience you design in like the worlds you kind of are trying to build, I think something could really be said for having a physical space or having like say maybe like a temporary physical space that you guys run and you guys design the whole thing. Have you guys ever thought about that or played with the idea?
Like, are you saying?
Like it could be in the form of a pop-up shop, or it could be in the form of like this like a experience you have that you want to take people through.
Yeah, it's funny because it's the Holy Gallery, but it's not a physical space.
Mm-hmm.
It's a physical place. But yeah, we had like ideas for events, and we want to do one in Antelope Island, with like a DJ, and we have this idea of these plastic, it's like these big plastic spheres that you can walk into out in Antelope. I think like we'd make them like it's like you know how when you make a trampoline, you like put air into this like big whatever material it is and just like inflates.
Yeah, like a nylon kind of thing.
Yeah, but we do it with plastic and with the DJ and with product. I think that'd be super like it'd be a super cool experience.
Yeah.
But like we do have like also ideas for like an art installation. I mean this space could work as that. But yeah, I mean I think that'd be sick. Like our posters, some of them say visit the gallery today, but there is no gallery.
Yeah.
It's more of a. It's like a what it means more so is like to us, bringing back like how you mentioned how we have religion or you see religious elements in our artwork.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you pray, when you want to go visit God or talk to God, it's not a physical space. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's more mental and more
it's more spiritual. So that's what that is for us. Like visit the gallery today. It's not a physical space. It's a place you take yourself. When you decide to get intimate in your relationship with God, for example. That's how we interpret that.
Yeah.
So it's, but I mean, eventually we'll have an actual gallery space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that could be really cool. And just seeing from the rack there, just like line up a whole bunch of those jerseys, and you guys really might have something.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Definitely.
So I would just honestly want to ask next, like, what is next for Holy Gallery? Where are you guys thinking about taking it, if you can talk about it, or like, what do you see as your next move, if you want to speak on that? Yeah,
there's a store in Provo called Cooperative. I don't know if you're aware.
No, I don't know. What do they do? They
have like it's like a brick and mortar store. It's like shoes, and they have like it's like more of a hype beast store. I'm gonna go check it out this week. We're gonna go look at it and meet the owner and just get talking. But we like this idea. They have like their whole foundation set. They have an audience. They're doing great, and we like the idea of, okay, you guys run a whole business here. What can we bring to it creatively? Like I told you earlier, let us creative direct a couple pieces. No screen printing allowed. It's like, let us take creative direction. Let us run the ads, and just kind of put that on our portfolio. Just like this idea of running a whole brand creatively for like a drop.
Yeah, and would that happen in physical form, like at their store? Or would that...
Yeah, that's the plan. It might even be just like a local exclusive, and like we haven't even talked at all or anything, but we want to have like cause it's a pretty big store from what I've seen. Like have like when like a game drops back in the day, like they make a booth for it, like at GameStop or something.
Yeah.
And we want to curate our own little spot depending on what we do, where people walk in, it's like a little experience,
That's sick, yeah.
At the store, and even do the website concept again with like the 360 camera, but at their store,
Yeah.
Doing that world building thing. That's like something we have in mind next, just because we don't want to just jerseys. I've been doing jerseys for so long. Even with my other brand, NAF, I did hockey jerseys. So I want to break out of that and just break out of clothing overall. Like we want to do something that like is outside of clothing. Like it's just so many things you can do, bro. Like we can design like a candle. We can design. We had an idea for a product. It wasn't clothing. But just I want to break out of that like quick, because if we do another clothing piece like again and again, it'll quickly go into this box where it's just another clothing brand.
Yeah.
So we gotta like be quick with it and smart on like not going in that direction.
Yeah. Do you think there's a way you could kind of balance the two and balance that agency feeling that you want your collective to have, and also the release of clothing at the same time? Like, do you think that there is a balance that can be found, or do you really want to pivot away from clothing?
Yeah, I think there's a balance to everything, and I mean, like, we don't even have to drop clothes like again ever, and just kind of leave the jerseys as the foundation of what we do, you know, and go from there. But just because I think that's such a big design platform, clothing, that's like a design language we chose, and we do have like ideas for other products, but there definitely can be a balance where it's like, because I don't want someone to be like, oh, you know, Holy Gallery, like, oh yeah, that one clothing brand.
Yeah.
Like I don't want that on the name of Holy Gallery. So it's something like to figure out and something to talk about, because it's not easy to like balance that. Like how are we gonna do that? Like especially at such a low level, like, and as people who really have no portfolio, no reputation, like how do we do that? You know, with the resources we currently have. You know, working with what we currently have. So that's something like that we have to talk about and really just. It's all about the connects too. Like, who do I know that can do this? Who do I know that? You know what I'm saying? Like, because we have the resources to do anything. We just have to have the conversations, you know?
Yeah, just about finding that kind of formula to make it all work.
Yeah, it's not easy, but I think that's what makes it more exciting, you know? And it's exhausting, but like, I've been saying this, and like, God put this on my heart, and I had to write it down, because like a lot of times we're exhausted from work, from, you know, this like whole trying to build something. You know, we're still so young. I mean, I'm only 22.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
20. Yeah, we're still so young, bro. Like, people are always getting like so stressed, and like they're like losing their minds because like, what am I gonna do? Blah blah. But like, we're still so young, bro. There's so much time, and it's one thing to be exhausted, you know, but it's about being exhausted from the right things, you know, being able to go home at night, like you're exhausted because you just did a whole 3-hour photo shoot, and then you went to the gym and you did work on one day. But you should realize, like, yo, I'm exhausted from the right things. I just put in the work today.
And you're doing something you love. I think that's like the greatest type of being exhausted at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's like it has a negative like connotation to it, but it could have a positive connotation to it. Like it could be a positive thing if you're exhausted from the right thing. So like when you're putting in the work every day, like it won't go unnoticed. Like eventually, you know, you'll see the results, and that's what I'm like. For the last 4 to 5 months, I was gonna tell Will this yesterday. Like, bro, we've literally been working, gym, studio, working, gym, studio. Like that's just that's our schedule for the last 4 months nonstop.
Just the whole workflow.
Yeah, and like I've been documenting all that, so it's like cool to like look back 5 months ago, get in the studio spot, locking in, and just building. You know, we're still so new to like we're just so new to everything here.
Yeah, but no, it's great. It's like you're. I think you're doing what has to be done. It's just doing the work and having a large output from doing all that work.
Yeah. No, we're still so like we're like so young, and we're barely just starting off. So I think looking back at the body of work we just put out, we're like, yo, we just got started. This is really good. You know, where do we go from here? It's exciting to see that.
Yeah, and just from talking to you, it seems like you've been doing this for, even as young as you are, you've been doing this for a while, and it seems like you have no plans of switching what you want to do or pivoting away from all of this creative stuff in general. Do you look at this as like what you do as a profession? Do you look at it as kind of like a lifelong commitment? Like, is there any end goal that tells you, oh, I want to stop at this point, or is this life now?
I think if I was to say I want to reach this, like we as humans are never really satisfied, you know? So like you let's say you want to reach this certain goal, and when you reach it, you want more. You always want more. So me right now, like I don't have anything in mind that's like I'm trying to reach this. Obviously, there's things that come out of this. I think if you really commit to things like this, like financial stability, financial freedom, that's something that I know we're going to achieve. I know like success, however you want to define that, like we're gonna reach that. We already reached it, you know. Like I told you, we're a finished product. Like that's why I chose to document things, because we're not documenting to see where it goes. We're documenting because we know where it went, if that makes sense. Like that's me talking from the future, looking back. Like like
we know that it was important, so you're looking back because you're proud of it.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah. Like it's. Like I think the term that applies more to me that I like is not it's a creative builder, like somebody who builds. I like to build things. You know, there's two types of people in this world. There's the givers and there's takers. Like when I walk into a room, whether that's like Thanksgiving or like a meeting or something like that, like I like to say, okay, what can I bring to the table creatively, mostly, but in any sort of way, how can I be of service?
Yeah, what can you give?
Right. And there's other people who are like, what can I take?
Uh-huh.
You know, there's like two types of people. And to me, like if I'm bringing things to the table, if I'm, you know, building my soul and like I'm more at peace, you know, I feel like I have something to look forward to in that aspect.
Would you say that building and kind of that output you're talking about, is that your metric of success? Like if you're building these worlds or building these products and releasing them in this way, is that successful to you?
I think if you're let's see. Well, when you're fulfilling your purpose, I think you're serving God, and serving God to me is like the best way to live.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw Rick Rubin say this, and I loved it. He was, are you familiar with Rick Rubin? Yeah. He said, like see it as an offering to God. Like everything you're building, all the product you're putting out, all these ideas, projects, like see it as an offering to God. And like when you see it like that, you don't really care about the specifics of the budget and things like that, you know?
Yeah.
Design, like just, or what people are going to say, you kind of forget about all that and just see it as a direct offering to God.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think building, and you know, you need something to look forward to. Like I feel like everybody, like I don't know how people, you know, they be having a job and like after work, like they don't really have any projects. That's like the main thing people need, projects. Because what do you have to look forward to? Like that to me is it's like a depressing sort of life. Like what do you have? Like what do you look forward to? The Fortnite update? You know, like I don't know, like how you can live.
I mean,
a
you
life.
can have stuff going on and still be looking forward to the Fortnite update a little bit. But
that was a good update, by the way. The Fortnite OG map.
Yeah, but no, I get what you're saying, because it brings excitement into like the regular flow of the day to day, and just like, I mean, doing this stuff for me, seemingly doing this stuff for you, it just like it brings this kind of energy to life that isn't there if you're not doing something like this.
Yeah. And like I don't have like I don't know, I think it's just different for everybody, but for me, like I know as long as I'm building and I have projects on the side creatively like this that can leave a influence trail and inspire others, that to me is like success, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So it's just like, how do we do it on the highest level?
Yeah, how do you keep growing within that framework of success? Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that you brought up Rick Rubin. I was honestly gonna bring him up myself, but what you were talking about when you mentioned the religious aspect of what you guys do in your work, it's kind of like that idea that God is putting these ideas in you, and you're kind of the center that, like, maybe say the energy comes down on, and you're just giving out the vessel. That's what I'm trying to say. Could you speak to your idea about that and just go further into that? Because I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I think sometimes we're inspired by God and you don't even realize it. Like you can make a whole artwork or something and a whole message, and it was like directly inspired by God, and you're not even aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think like God, like I'm trying to like word it like cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like we're a vessel. And you know, this is all God's creation. You know, we're His creation. Like to me, God is first of all, God's a designer. Like He designed the world, so we're just doing what He did. You know, like we're designing. You know, He designed the world, and we're just like making these designs and inspiring others. But I think you know, everything has to be done, like I said, on His terms, because I mean the Bible says that His ways are higher. You know, His thoughts are higher. We're so like, I think we're so like selfish. We don't really want to depend on anybody else or anything. And I don't think you should depend on anybody else except God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah, I just love the idea of like God being the inspiration on everything I do. Mm-hmm. You know, like nobody can convince me that God isn't real. Like that's something that is a personal experience for me, and
mm-hmm.
it could be a personal experience for you, for anybody. But I mean, yeah, like I said, sometimes God will inspire you, and you're not even aware. You don't even have to believe in God, and God will use you. You know what I'm saying? And some people don't even realize that. You know, like.
But say someone like what you're saying, you have that experience that you've had that makes you know that that's real. You can see it in other people that they might not even know, but you can see just that energy coming down and just being used as a vessel and everything.
I think you can see it, you can notice it.
I think kind of to wrap up, I just wanted to ask you, to maybe just put the audience or put me onto something or someone who you find really inspiring, but you don't think gets enough attention. Just in this whole scope of like creativity and creative people.
Let's see. That's a good question. That's a good one. Let me see. I'm gonna need time to think on this.
It kind of goes hand in hand with like another question is like something you find very inspirational right now. It could just be an Instagram account. Like I saw you guys got posted by Sample Research, which I've been following for a long time. I love the stuff
really?
that they do. Yeah.
Oh, that's
but
fire.
I thought that was really sick. I was like, no way.
Yeah, they shout out Sample Research. They be posting they've been posting us for a minute. Like since last year, they posted like the first jersey sample, which is kind
Really
of crazy. Yeah.
Huh.
But let's see. There's an Instagram account. Okay, that's a good one. There's Wait, who do you have someone that comes up just so I kind of
I don't know. It's not even like I think the non-familiarity with everybody else kind of gets in the way of the question because I can't really think of people that are really low scale, but
yeah.
We talked about Lil Yachty in my last interview. That's been a big one because he's been really just for fashion and everything. But I was thinking, do you know Heron Preston?
Yeah.
Yeah, he worked a little bit with Kanye, but there's this brand, I forgot what they're called. There's this brand that makes they make footwear, and they did a collaboration with them, but they make it all out of they like not screen print. They like 40 print all of them, but it's more like they look kind of like video game shoes a little bit. I'll show you afterwards, but they're really cool. I'll add the name in editing if I figure it out. But yeah,
someone that it's not even someone that's like really has inspired me like that, but it's like someone I'd like to work with to inspire. I think Yeet is super fire, like sonically, like what he's doing with the new sound. Like I just feel like when I hear his music, I want to like design some crazy like ass artwork. Cause like I feel like it's a crazy world. He's like doing world building in a way, making his own art, his own sound. But yeah, Yeet would be crazy like to do something with, and I think he's still like he's not mainstream yet, so I feel like he kind of goes into that list.
And I think like if you listen to his music, looking at like the right kind of visuals, like I don't know if you saw the Cole Bennett video for the most recent one, yeah, like with the alien kind of landscape, it's like that kind of scenery put next to like Yeet's music to me is so like fire. I think might be what you're thinking about, but
no,
I think that's raw.
So fire, bro. I love that like whole world. It's world building, like I said. Like it's kind of like how Travis Scott did the Astro World thing. Like you got to build that world.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
And he's doing it with Utopia again, like, and Yeet's doing it with his, his own sound. It's so fire. And since he's not like mainstream yet, I feel like I brought him up. He's still kind of like low key.
Can't do nothing mainstream.
Really. Yeah, I'm sure he'll go after this next album.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think like definite big step up in the next one.
Yeah. Another thing I want to like mention is like, cause it's like there's always some like new terminology we're using, me and like my cousin, of like just kind of like putting it into our head. Like it was everything on God's terms for a minute. Like we just kept saying that, but like now it's like recognized. Like a lot of times you gotta like recognize. Just sometimes like you're just, even if you don't like the person, bro, or like the brand, like just recognize if it's good or if it's not. Like you just gotta sit down and a lot of people don't like sit. I feel like a lot of people don't sit down and just kind of like observe for a moment and like recognize just all things. Recognize your own feelings. Like damn, why do I hate this guy? Like I gotta recognize if I do, like, and go from there. That's like the first step, recognizing, that's something I've been like just sitting on, like just recognizing if I have, or just recognize the artwork, like damn bro, like I gotta recognize, and that's fire. Like I think recognition and just recognizing overall, just kind of like in your head,
just noticing more or less.
I think that's like, and the reason I like that came to my head because I was like, yo, some people just gotta like recognize and be grateful with God, or just recognize in general, like damn, I'm blessed, bro. Like people sometimes that's the first step to a lot of things, just recognizing. A lot of people don't do that, and when I did that like a few weeks ago, I was like, yo, I gotta like tell Will this, my cousin, and like you just gotta recognize, bro, like and if someone, it's like both ways. If someone hates you, it's like, bro, just recognize that, love me or hate us, or whether I love or hate you, like I should recognize the work you're putting in, or I think that's like the first step to collaboration and to ending any sort of beef or whatever, like in
any
all
feud
aspects.
you have with somebody.
Yeah, like just recognizing. I think that's something I'd like to I wanted to mention that because that's been on my heart, and something we're talking about all the time.
Yeah, no, that's honestly a great answer to the question. I've been thinking about that recently too, because there's some people that, I mean, like I get the thinking behind what they're doing, and I get what they're going for, and I recognize like after thinking about it and not thinking like hatefully, being like, oh, these dudes suck, like just realizing that, okay, they might be doing something regardless of what they're doing that I don't have the balls to do at a certain point, and I'm not putting out any work, so what do I have to say for this? So just like recognizing, like, oh, is this really about them and what they're doing, or is it about me?
Right.
And I've been doing that recently too, and it's taken me to, okay, why I'm hating on this guy, but why am I not doing anything? Okay, so I'm gonna start the interview thing. Like I'm gonna start going, and so
like you gotta like also like be like, where's my heart at? Because if I'm feeling this way, where's my heart stand?
Yeah.
But sometimes you also gotta recognize if something's trash, bro.
No, for real.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a joke. Me and my cousin were saying, like, bro, you also gotta recognize if it ain't good, and maybe I'll help you out a little bit.
Yeah, and be honest about it, because you're not gonna. I feel like that's something good with like working with your cousin and stuff. It's like you're not gonna lie or be a yes man to your cousin. Like you'll tell him if something he has is like trash.
We had like a bunch of rules on the whiteboard. We took them off now, but it was the first one was speak your mind always. If something is not, if design's not cool or something, like just be straight up about it. Why like say, oh, that's fire, that's crazy, but you know what I'm saying, like just be straight up with it, and we can like avoid all. It's just like you won't be able to sleep at night, like if you don't actually like it, like, yo, it's fire, and then you kind of go home and you're like, oh, that was ass. Yeah,
because it lives with you even if you don't want it to. Yeah, like even if you put an idea into the world and you're like, oh, that was not too good. Like you think about it more than you think about the good idea that you got off. Yeah.
Another thing, I know I'm just like saying things, but
no, keep going.
Like I think another important thing for us, and you didn't get to see this probably, but the Holy Gallery used to be more of an archive page. Like we were posting a lot of behind the scenes. It was very like unprofessional, but that was the point of it, very raw. And we would just post a bunch of photos of just things we were working on for the last year. So it was like this idea of just putting out progress and showing process. Now it's like a little more, I switched it up. It's more professional because we just had a drop. But like, I love the idea. And I also say this all the time, but like, when you show the process, it creates genuine interest, So like that's one of the main reasons I picked up a camera and started documenting like the last 5 months. It was before I had a studio. I was like, all right, I'm gonna like start filming right now. I filmed everything, get in the studio, like designing, doing the shoots, like everything. I documented it because I think that creates, like I said, genuine interest, and people, when they see the process and the progress, they're more intrigued, like, totally. I want to see the process of how this product was created, instead of just like, saying out Friday, I want to show you what got us to that day, what's going to get us, what do we have to go through to get to that Friday,
Yeah, totally.
That creates that genuine interest. And for us, that's like a big thing, showing the process. And I'm excited to like showcase that through video. We have like a 35-40 minute video of all that. But I think I encourage like everybody to always like showcase the behind the scenes, the process. I think that people love that.
Yeah, I think honestly it's probably the main reason that I do this is because like you see these people online and you see them mainly through short form video or just pictures and stuff. They don't really have voice to them. They don't speak in anything. So it's like I need to what I want to do with this platform is I need to get people's ideas firsthand out in like a conversation format, so you really get a gauge of like, oh, I see Holy Gallery on Instagram, but oh, this is the guy who runs it and this is what he's about. Yeah. And I think that's like the coolest thing about this whole thing. Yeah,
I mean this in itself is very raw, and I love that. I love I love raw concepts. Like this whole studio, kind of like the concept of it is very industrial and raw.
Yeah.
And it's not finished, by the way. It's like it's a work in progress.
No, but it's cool. It's rough around the edges. Yeah. It has some character to it. Love it.
Yeah, and this table, like we built this table, bro. Like
really, I honestly thought you bought this house somewhere because I've seen this.
No, we saw it's a reference. Like but I ain't paying $5,000 for a table. So
oh hell no, yeah.
We just built it on our own. You know what I'm saying? And like the walls, we did the lime wash. I just love like the idea of us building the space. Building the things we get in here. But yeah, just like the raw and the process. Matter of fact, we documented we documented the table, we documented the walls, and just like I said, just showing that process is very important.
No, I think it's great, and I really mess with you with what you guys are doing and all the stuff you're putting out. And
Thank you.
I honestly I can't wait to see what you guys do in the future. And
I'm
thanks for
excited.
sitting down and doing this conversation.
Yeah, bro,
I really appreciate it.
Good meeting you.
Yeah, good to meet you, man. All right, thank you, everybody.
Peace out. Subscribe.